Hey kids, it's Miss Patty. I have a project here for you that is so fun to create because it's almost like you have to pretend that you're a little bumblebee buzzing around a flower. Now this is the project we're going to make, and it's a flower, but it's really close to us. Here's another version that I made. Look at it. Look at all of these little pieces of tissue paper. And it looks like the flower is just exploding off the page. And that's what we're going to be creating. Okay, so this is what you're going to need. I have a paper plate here. It's so tiny. It's like smaller than my hand. But I'm going to mix up some colors here. And I have these craft acrylic paints. You can use any kind of paint you want. And that's where I'm going to put my paint. I'm going to draw with a black oil pastel. So if you have a crayon, a black oil pastel, you can use another color if you want. I'm going to choose black. And then I have a paintbrush. And then for later on, I have some tissue paper and glue. Okay, so let's get started. I want to start with the center of the flower. And I'm going to take my black oil pastel. I always love to have something to trace. Now it could be a paper plate like this. It could be a plastic container. It could be a cup, anything that you want. And you can put your center of the flower here or over here, wherever you feel is right for your work of art. I'm going to put it kind of in the center, maybe off to the side a bit. And I'm going to lightly trace around my circle. Just like that. Now I don't need this anymore. Now what I want to do, I want to make little tiny dots around the edge of my circle. And this is where my flower's petals are going to go. But what you're going to do is pick one little dot. Now watch this. Just watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down, down, down. I'm going to go right off my paper, and I'm going to head back to the next dot. Look how big that petal is. And look, if I lift up my paper, the tip of the petal went away. And that kind of gives you the illusion that you're really close to the bloom of the flower. Okay, let's do it again. This time I'm going to go off the top. I'm going to go up, up, up. Keep on drawing that petal as big as if you would, as if you had a big piece of paper. I'm going to do one over here. I'm going to start here and I'm going to end here. I'm going to go out, 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 and then back to that section. Let's do it over here. Out and then back. Look how big those flowers are. Now, if you're happy with just 4 petals, you can stop, but I'm not. I want to keep going. I want to make more. So I'm going to do this one right here, and then I'm going to end there. So it's going to go out, and oops, I'm going to run into this petal. So what I'm going to do instead of tracing over it is just stop. So now look at my beautiful flower. Now it's time to mix up some colors. Okay kids, I have a paper plate, and you can use a palette, you can use a plate, whatever you want. Even a piece of wax paper is good. And I have a little paintbrush here. And I want to divide my colors into warm colors and cool colors. Now I'm going to show you some examples. This pink and this orange and yellow and red, they're all warm colors, kind of like the sun. But these colors, the blue and the turquoise and the green and the aqua, those are all cool colors like the forest or the ocean. So what I want you to do is either pick cool colors or warm colors for your blooms, for your petals. And I think I'll choose some warm colors. And I'm going to choose 4 colors. You can choose 3, but you want to choose at least 2 colors. So I have a palette of pre-mixed colors, but I'm going to take a color. I'm going to start with this yellow, and I want to paint one of my blooms, my petals, go around the outside, and just paint the inside. Now, while the paint is still wet, and this is kind of the important part, you can take another color and just dip your paintbrush right in that color. You don't even have to clean your brush, and just add some extra color along the outside. Isn't that pretty? Or along the inside. Now I'm going to paint this. I'm not cleaning my brush. I'm just going to let my colors mix together on my brush. keep working through and finish painting all of your petals. And then when you're finished, I want you to take a look at the colors and ask yourself, are there any blending things I want to do? Like, is this one too yellow? If it is, say, hey, I think I'll add some pink or maybe some orange to the base of this little petal. You can do that. And you can ask yourself, do I feel happy with how my petals look? And if it's a, yeah, I really like it, then you're done. So you don't have to add anything else. I'm gonna take this light pink, and I think I'll make this the center of my flower. Now I'm gonna clean my brush because I wanna pick a color to paint my background. So I'm gonna dip my paintbrush in my water and then drag it along the edge and tap it on my paper towel. Now I'm gonna get a new paper plate, and I wanna choose what color to paint my background. So here's a trick. Just put your paint either in a little container like this or just on a palette and kind of decide what color would look good. I'm really liking this color, so I think I'm just gonna play around with this. And do you notice that it's a cool color? So I'm using warm color for my flower and a cool color for my background. I'm all done. Okay, so now kids, I'm gonna put away my brush because I really am finished of all my painting. Now I'm gonna get out some fun things. I have lots of tissue paper and a little bottle of glue here. And what I wanna do is put some tissue paper inside my center of my flower. So here's one example where I kind of made a little ring around the center and I crunched up little yellow pieces of tissue paper. You can do the same thing all over the center, and you're not even going to see the paint, but you can decide. You can make little dots, you can do whatever you want. Like, I can't wait to see what you do. Now, you might want to be like me. If this is something you like, you don't have to do this. It's up to you. You're the artist. You can make these choices. But what I like to do, I like to kind of go around the lines that I already drew in that black oil pastel. Okay, I think that's it. I'm gonna go around here. Maybe I'll make this line wiggly. Whew, I like that. Okay, now this is what you can do. You wanna make some decisions about where you wanna put your tissue paper. And wherever you put your tissue paper, I want you to take a little bit of glue. So this is white glue. And I'm gonna make dots, like little seeds almost. And I'm gonna put big old blobs of glue wherever I want a dot. There. What I'm gonna do is take my pink tissue paper, just kind of tear it in half. Then I'm gonna crunch, 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 and then set it on top of a big blob of glue. Okay, I'm all finished. Now, there are a few things that you could do, and I wonder if you notice it. See this picture here? I added some little black lines to make it look like the veins of the flower. If you wanted to do that, you would just put your oil pastel down and just flick up. That's an optional step. You don't have to do it. But now, boys and girls, I am all done. So parents, if your child loved this episode, drawing along and painting along with me, then consider trying out our free episode over on primary.com. It's called the 4-Season Fox, where your child can learn how to draw a fox with me and then make seasonal elements to the background. It's really fun. So go ahead and grab that link just below this video, and hopefully I'll see you over in Primary.